Hi guys, I'm Nick Bonner with treestuff.com. We're here today in our showroom, which we're still renovating, and this is a small display that we've set up to show non-exhaustive kind of evolution or progression of climbing. So we have a 4D Weaver harness here with a butt strap and the individual legs tied in with a real traditional system with a Blake's hitch, no slack tender or anything like that. We move here, we have a split tail with an optional slack tending pulley that can be removed. Nice Weaver Cougar saddle as well. As we keep coming, we start getting into some 24 strand ropes. We've got Tachyon, Tree Motion saddle from Teufelberger, and a venerable hitch climber setup here. Next we have a rope wrench, the Edelrid Tree Core saddle, which is very, very modern, ultra light. So start getting into that, and then obviously here we have kind of the future, the Rope Runner, and the Matt Cornell saddle. So we'll take a minute, we'll get into this Weaver saddle over here, and we'll kind of start at the beginning. So here we have a Weaver 4D saddle. You know, one of the big advantages of this, obviously, is that it just goes on, right? That you don't have to step into it. Okay, so this is the first saddle that I ever had as a climber. Got a really traditional Yale buzz line here. This is a 12 strand and a Blake's hitch. So when we get our weight into this, and we go to ascend, we're going to pretty much have to hip thrust. So you'll see that that gives us an instant slack tending, which is one of the advantages. As soon as I thrust, I stop. Problems with this system and things that you run into is if there's an obstruction or a branch here and you come up to it, you're going to have to untie your entire system. So you have to buck in, untie this whole mess, put it back together. So enter the split tail, which we will show you here in just 1 second. So here we have a traditional Blake's hitch climbing system rigged with a split tail. The split tail is simply another piece of climbing line or 16 strand rope, usually with an eye or a knotted termination here. These are very nice with the sew-in eye. It's going to give you the same style of climbing as your traditional closed Blake's hitch system with a hip thrust and that reliable instant grab. The benefit of the split tail is if you come up on a branch, you can buck in and simply pass it. Another thing we're looking at here with this system here in the shop is adding a slack tending pulley with this little keeper here, and what that'll do is tend my slack for me and allow me to push with 2 hands or pull with 2 hands. So there you have Weaver Cougar. It's a little too big for me. This is a size 2, and the split tail climbing system. So with the introduction of closed hitch climbing systems or I&I plus sit cords, we see that the hitch has been moved a lot closer to the climber's body, right? And we see improved slack tending. What this does is it changes the way you're actually climbing. You're pulling from above your hitch, holding yourself, and then taking in the slack. You'll notice as I pull down, my slack tending pulley will fall, and that can create some considerable sit back. DMM introduced the hitch climber pulley. So that third attachment hole, besides just looking nice, what that does is when you pull down, this dead end of the line remains static and holds the slack tending pulley up and keeps it right there in front of you. This is probably the most common modern climbing system. It offers really smooth tending. You can attach other climbing systems here and still remain centered. Very, very nice. Obviously we have the Teufelberger Tree Motion here, which is, you know, probably the gold standard in terms of saddles right now. Very, very nice. Got a triple blade Tachyon from New England as well, so pretty good stuff. So here we are, very, very modern system. We have the Singing Tree rope wrench, some Yale Arrow Frog, and the Pinto Beckett tether. Without getting too exhaustive into single rope, what you see here is a single fixed line, so no more double rope moving system. This allows the climber to get a one-to-one input. If you're pushing down and pulling up, you're going up 1 foot if you're pulling 1 foot. In the double rope system, you're pulling twice as much. You'll see I've added a foot ascender here, which I'm going to use to take a lot of the load off my hands. There's a lot of different ways to tend a single rope climbing system. I won't get into those today, but I will show you that I'm able to ascend using mostly leg power, which is very nice. The rope wrench is going to engage, take a certain percentage of the friction off the hitch, allow me to descend smoothly. We have a very, very modern saddle here. This is the Edelrid Tricor. It has a dual floating bridge, and this is adjustable under load. So I can sit in it and then tighten this up and get to that perfect amount of back and leg support. So the ability to fine tune that, really, really nice. Here we are, we have the Matt Cornell rope saddle, which is the newest saddle out. Should be out this month, we're hoping. We also have the Rope Runner, All Gear, Cherry Bomb. So in terms of going from oldest school to newest school, this is easily the most modern setup available. The Matt Cornell saddle features pretty much infinite adjustability from where you want to position the rings to putting attachment points and gear loops. Capable of taking suspenders, very traditional, easy to adjust. Belt, leg loops, set it and forget it, tighten them down. Really, really high quality. You've got your rope runner here. Again, I also have a foot ascender on here. You'll see, doesn't really tend much smoother than that. One hand, very smooth, easy descent. So the rope runner is great.